بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الوهاب الكريم اللطيف الحليم وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد خاتم الأنبياء وسيد الخلق أجمعين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين في الأولين وفي الآخرين وفي كل وقت وحين وفي الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. For those of us who are here for the Dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I congratulate you because you partook in the best of wealth. There's a hadith in Sunnah Tirmidhi where the Prophet ﷺ said, and it's part of a hadith, where he said the best wealth is a tongue that remembers Allah, a grateful heart, and a believing wife to help him in his faith. We did the first, let's talk about the second. Grateful heart. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, part of it, at the end of an ayah, وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ. Few of my slaves are shakur. They're shakir, grateful. So there's shukr, shakir, the one that does shukr, and then there's shakur, which is the really grateful. And few of Allah Ta'ala's slaves are very grateful. And gratitude is a tremendous blessing that is bestowed upon the slave. And it's a tremendous virtue that we should all seek increase in. I am convinced that increase in gratitude to Allah Ta'ala, with proper aqidah, increase in gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, it comes with ma'rifah of Allah. The closer you are to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and the more ma'rifah you have, the more grateful you will be to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And let's look at one of the few slaves of Allah Ta'ala who is shakur, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Mughira bin Shu'ba narrated, recorded, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would pray until his feet were swollen. He prayed until his feet were swollen. It was asked, paraphrasing it, was asked to him, why do you do this when Allah has forgiven your past and future sins? What was his response? أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شُكُورًا. Should I not be a grateful servant? Many people want to follow the sunnah of the Nabi al-Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And while it is, for instance, the sunnah mu'akkadah prayers before, for instance, the two before Fajr, the four before Dhuhr, the two after Dhuhr, the two after Maghrib, the two after Isha, there's other aspects of the sunnah as well. And we shouldn't limit the sunnah only to certain things. We don't go and frame the sunnah. We get framed by the sunnah. We don't go frame the sunnah, we get framed by it. Just like we don't go to the Quran and try to frame it, we get framed by it. We need to go to the sunnah and be framed by the sunnah of Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And let's try to follow his sunnah of praying at night out of gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mentioned it earlier today in a talk I was giving in Manchester. Shouldn't we be a bit ashamed? Yani, how many people here have the birds outside of the window in the morning? Anybody here? They get woken up by the birds maybe? Aren't we maybe a bit ashamed that the birds are up before us? Aren't we a bit ashamed that this bird, who's not mukallaf, who's not legally responsible, the bird won't be asked on the Day of Judgment, about what it did. It won't go to Jahannam, for instance. We're going to be asked about what we did. We are legally responsible. We have made mistakes. We're not prophets. We do make mistakes. We've made mistakes. shouldn't we be a bit ashamed that we got outstripped by a bird? That this bird is up, and this bird glorifies Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we're sleeping. Shouldn't we be a bit ashamed? Now, the thing about gratitude as well is what? It increases you, bidnillah, insofar as we know from the Quran that whoever is grateful to Allah Ta'ala, Allah increases them. And then the thing about gratitude, from that perspective, is it has an air of imperfection insofar as what? Even if we're grateful, maybe someone's trying to seek something through being grateful. And not only that, the gratitude itself requires gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fact that He allowed you to thank Him itself requires gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in that sense, we can never be truly grateful. And then one person said, in a sense, what is gratitude then? Gratitude is to exert yourself. Exert yourself in gratitude. Exert yourself in gratitude. What do you mean? Well, there's gratitude of the tongue. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gifts that He gave. Don't stop at the gift. Don't be these blind people that they see the gift and then they don't see the giver. You know, if Abid, for instance, gives me something, first thing I should witness is not Abid, is not the gift. The first thing that I should do is thank Allah, who gave me this gift by means of Abid. When you look and you see the beautiful nature that was created, or you see your health, or you see your body, you look in the mirror, etc. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't be veiled by it. Look at try to witness the one who created the tree. Witness the one who created you. Witness the one who gave you drink today, who clothed you, who gave you food, who woke you up, who gave you the tawfiq to pray to Him, who gave you the tawfiq to do dhikr of Him, who now we're given the tawfiq as well to do to send Salat An Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You think you're doing this on your own? Do we think we're doing this on our own? We're not doing it on our own. This is by the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is by the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's people who will go through that. Think about this. Like, we need to kind of stop sometimes and just think. People will go through their entire life never mentioning the name Allah. There are people who will go through their life and they will never know Allah. There's people who will go through this life and who will never know who Al-Mustafa is. There's people who will go through this life and not know where they came from, what they're made from, where they're going, what's to be expected. But here we are, Muslim, we have Iman, we're healthy, we're in a good community, we did Dhikr of Allah, we send Salat An Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we have family who loves us, we have a shelter over our head, we have food on the table. I remind myself as one of the lowest ones here, we need to be more grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to be way more grateful to Him. We need to be way more grateful to Him. So I'll end the reminder on that. That there's dhikr on the tongue, and then there's also, or shukr on the tongue, and then there's also shukr in the heart. You know, at the beginning of the dhikr we say the Fatiha. After the basmala is what? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Now let me ask myself and you, is our tongue saying it while our heart is elsewhere? Or are we saying Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen with our heart? We say it minimums, if you know the 5 fara'id, we're saying it 17 times a day. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Do you mean it in your heart? Is it just coming out the tongue, or is it also present in the heart? And lastly, so there's shukr of the tongue, there's shukr of the heart, and then there's shukr of the limbs. What do you mean? Allah Ta'ala gave us eyesight. use the eyesight in a way pleasing to Him. Do you think it's really gratitude to say, Ya Allah, thank you so much for my eyesight, and then you go and you look at haram things? That you use the gift that the giver gave to you in a way displeasing to the giver? Do you think that that's true gratitude? No. True gratitude would be to use the eyes in ways pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's people out there who can't see. There's people out there who can't speak. People out there who can't hear. There's people out there who can't move their hands. There's people out there who can't move their feet. There's people out there with slipped discs in their back. There's people out there paralyzed. They're in wheelchairs. They have to get pushed around. Alhamdulillah for the ni'mah of afiyah of our bodies. We should use them in ways pleasing to Him. Let's try to make an effort that our feet will only be in places pleasing to Him. That our hands will only reach for things pleasing to Him. That our eyes will only look at things pleasing to Him. That we'll only hear things pleasing to Him. That our tongue will only be used in ways pleasing to Him. Let's try to make a commitment tonight to increase in that. To do dhikr of the tongue, to do dhikr of the shukr on the tongue, shukr of the limbs to Allah Ta'ala, and also shukr of the heart. قولي قولي هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين.